Here is my hot take for the day. I believe that Gen Z, that teenagers should join a church. Not for the politics, not for the dogma, not for your soul per se. I'm not a Christian myself, or if I am a Christian, it's only very loosely defined. I think you should attend a church because it is one of the last places in our culture, if you're in America, where people gather regularly for something higher than themselves. The only other place I can think where people gather as regularly out in public to meet new people would be bars, potentially, but this bar environment with drinking and smoking and drugs and staying up late is kind of the opposite of a church. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of overlap, and if you're going to choose some kind of social setting to regularly attend, why not have it be one that uplifts yourself, makes you a more moral person, makes you a more healthy person, connects you to community in a more fulfilling and a deep and a lasting way, leaves you refreshed for a Monday and not hungover on a Monday. And I'll try my best here to give you a few reasons why I think you should join. Generation Z is the loneliest, most separated, most depressed, and most anxious generation on record since we've started taking records, polling people about things like this. Church is certainly a place that you can connect with a few different things. First, just other people, strangers generally, helps you to feel more connected, and even if you're not friends with them, even your first, second, third time visiting a church as you're getting integrated into the community, you will get a lot of these benefits of just connecting with other people out there. You'll also get the benefits of intergenerational connection. You know, a lot of churches, they have kids, babies, they'll have middle-aged people, they'll have young adults, and they'll have older people. And so you can have a real connection across the generation, not just with people your own age, but with people both younger and older than you, which I think is really valuable to maintain. I think that's a really natural, normal thing, sort of how human beings were, how we evolved through most of our evolution, is having these intergenerational mixes of people. And again, you're not going to find that at bars, really. You're not going to find that at school. It's mostly just people your age group. At work, depending on where you work, you may find that a bit, you may not. But church really runs the gambit of connecting with your community and having these intergenerational connections across time. And then, of course, if you actually become part of the community, now it is your community. There's a place you can get help, you can get resources. You know, if you don't show up, people will miss you, people will text you, where are you at today, man? And I think that's a beautiful thing that we just don't have a whole lot of outlets for in today's world. Second reason is pretty simple. You know, life is confusing and we don't really have the mental resources to figure out the philosophy of life and everything about it. So it's very helpful to go back to these traditions that have been around for thousands of years. And although because they're so old, have plenty of issues, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of wisdom in them that can give you some moral direction and guidance. There's some things that you'll see across all religions, and even if you don't follow them perfectly or you don't even believe in them perfectly, it will guide you and orient you in the right direction. So, for example, most religions, although maybe Catholics or Jews are some exceptions to this, even a lot of Christians really are exceptions to this, I suppose, but a lot of religions say don't drink. Well, this is a good thing. I mean, you shouldn't drink. Like, your life would be better if you didn't drink, that's just true. And so it doesn't mean you can't drink or you can't live your life the way you want, but having some kind of a guide for a certain direction, I think can be really helpful. Same with, not cheating, not stealing, not lying. Lying, I think, is really really sneaky way that sort of sin, quote unquote, can get to you. And I think even if you do lie sometimes, or maybe you don't even believe that lying is always bad, having that direction and that guidance and that reframing once a week to maybe I could just try to be a little bit better of a person, a little bit more moral of a person. Having that check-in once a week is super helpful. Even within Christianity, there's a lot of very liberal branches. There's a church down the street from me where everyone uses pronouns. There's Quakers, which they don't even use Bibles. They just kind of meditate the whole time. There's other progressive denominations like Unitarian or Presbyterian I've had great experiences with. I was going on different church tours a couple of years ago with a friend of mine who's male. Now, both of us are straight, but for some reason, I mean, I guess we were just going around together, two dudes, so everyone thought we were a gay couple. And the Presbyterians were like super, the pastor came up to us and she said, hey, we're really welcoming here of like all different lifestyles. And I mean, I thought that was cool, just kind of a litmus test. So look, if none of this vibes with you either, there's obviously super traditional, conservative churches with very strict rules. But I'm just saying there's a whole gambit, you know. If you live in like a medium, large city in America, you probably have hundreds of different choices. There's probably one out there for you somewhere. And again, even if you choose one and you like it and you like a lot of things about it, you can kind of take from it what you want. You know, it's kind of like going to a spiritual gym. You're not going to use all the equipment all the time. You don't need all of it. You don't want all of it. You don't like all of it. That's fine. That's beside the point. It's maybe not even that important at all. Point number 4 is just that it gives you some ritual and structure, again, throughout your week. I'd mentioned before that once a week it's good to check in morally and say, hey, can I aim at something a little bit higher than myself? Can I aim this week to be a little bit better version of myself? Well, that check-in also involves rest, reflection, disconnecting from technology, disconnecting from work. I like to sometimes just take a walk out in the woods after church as part of this kind of experience. And you can add whatever other kind of rituals you'd like to it, but just once a week sort of pausing and taking stock of where you're at, even if it's just for an hour or two, can be really helpful, and especially if it's with a group of other people as well. Last point is that you get real human connection in a church. I think if it's a good one anyway, you get real human connection. Most services have some kind of greeting your neighbor, you know, with a word of greeting from the Lord, or peace be upon you, or handshake, or for the Buddhist temple, maybe a bow. You may hold hands with a stranger during prayer and really feel something. You start attending a place regularly. Again, people know your name. They're excited to see you. You know, this is a community where you're all trying to be better people, looking up a little bit, you know, sharing meals together potentially. So this real human contact with, especially with your neighbors, if you can find a local one you want, is super valuable. So look, you don't have to believe in God per se. You don't have to believe in heaven or hell to show up. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be trying to be perfect. You can just be a person, you know. I mean, again, depends on what church. Some churches want you to be a little bit more perfect than other ones, but just go, you know, sit down, listen, say hi, explore a little bit, see something in your community, see a new neighborhood. And if nothing else, you'll leave with a little bit more knowledge about, you know, world religions, local religions, your community. Hopefully you'll leave with a full heart, maybe a cup of coffee, and eventually some new friends, you know, that'll text you back and that'll know your name. So I hope this little monologue encourages you to go visit a local church if that feels right to you. And otherwise, stay blessed anyway.